The alarm bells rang through the medical bay of Meridian 7 space station. Dr. Hyun looked up from his desk, his coffee still warm in his hand. He had been working on reports for the last 3 hours. The sound of the alarm meant only one thing. An emergency patient was coming. Hyun stood up and walked quickly to the main treatment room. His assistant Dae was already there, preparing the equipment. Dae looked nervous. His hands were shaking as he arranged the surgical tools on the metal tray. "What kind of patient is it?" Hyun asked. Dae turned to face him. His face was pale. "Doctor, you need to see this yourself. The transport team is bringing it in now." Before Hyun could ask more questions, the doors opened. 6 armed guards walked in first. They carried heavy plasma rifles. Their armor was thick and black. Behind them, a floating medical pod moved slowly into the room. The pod was made of reinforced steel and had warning lights flashing red all over it. Hyun walked closer to the pod. Through the small window, he could see something moving inside. It was big, very big. The creature had dark purple scales that looked like armor. Its body was at least 3 meters long. Sharp spikes ran along its back. Even unconscious, the creature looked dangerous. "What is this?" Hyun asked. One of the guards spoke through his helmet. "It's a Vexar, Doctor. Found it near the mining colony on Sector 9. It was attacking the miners." Hyun felt his heart beat faster. He had heard about Vexars. Everyone in the galaxy had heard about them. They were known as the most dangerous creatures in space. Vexars killed anything that came near them. Their claws could cut through metal. Their blood was like acid. They had never been tamed or trained. No one had ever kept a Vexar alive in captivity for more than a few days. "Why did you bring it here?" Hyun asked. "Why not just kill it?" The guard shifted his weight. "The mining company wants to study it. They paid a lot of money to capture it alive, but it's badly injured. If you can't fix it in the next few hours, it will die anyway." Hyun looked at the creature again. Through the window, he could see blood on its scales. One of its legs was bent at a strange angle. There were deep wounds on its side. The creature was suffering. Dae moved closer to Hyun. "Doctor, we can't treat this thing. It's too dangerous. Even the Vreeland doctors refused to touch it. The Vreelands are the best surgeons in the galaxy, and they said no." Hyun understood Dae's fear, but he also understood something else. He was a veterinarian. He had spent his whole life treating animals. On Earth, he had worked with lions, bears, and crocodiles. Everyone told him those animals were too dangerous too, but Hyun believed that every creature deserved care. Pain was pain. Suffering was suffering. It didn't matter what species you were. "Open the pod," Hyun said. Everyone in the room turned to look at him. The guards raised their weapons. Dae stepped back. "Doctor, that's crazy," one guard said. "The moment we open that pod, it will wake up and kill everyone here." Hyun walked to his equipment cabinet. He pulled out a large injection gun. "Not if I sedate it first. Dae, prepare the strongest sedative we have. Triple the normal dose for a creature this size." Dae didn't move. "Dr. Hyun, please think about this. You're human. Humans are supposed to be smart." "This isn't smart. This is suicide." Hyun loaded the injection gun. "I'm not asking for your opinion, Dae. I'm giving you an order. Prepare the sedative now." Dae swallowed hard but moved to follow the order. The guards kept their weapons pointed at the pod. Hyun could hear his own breathing. It was loud in his ears. His hands were steady, though. He had done this before. Not with a Vexar, but the principle was the same. Approach with confidence. Show no fear. The animal could sense fear. "Open the pod slowly," Hyun said. "Just enough for me to get the injection in." One of the guards walked to the control panel. He pressed several buttons. The pod made a hissing sound. A small opening appeared at the top. Immediately, a low growling came from inside. The creature was waking up. Hyun moved fast. He pushed the injection gun through the opening and fired. The needle was long and strong. It penetrated the Vexar's thick scales. The sedative went into the creature's body. The growling became louder. The pod shook. Then slowly the sound stopped. "It worked," Dae whispered. Hyun waited 2 more minutes to be sure. Then he nodded to the guards. "Open it completely." The pod opened like a metal flower. Inside, the Vexar lay still. Its chest moved up and down with slow breaths. Now that Hyun could see it properly, he understood how badly hurt it was. The broken leg was the least of its problems. There were burn marks across its body. Several of its spikes were broken. One of its eyes was swollen shut. "What did they do to this creature?" Hyun asked quietly. The guard who had spoken before answered. The miners used shock weapons and fire to capture it. It didn't want to be taken alive. Hyun felt anger rise in his chest. This wasn't a monster. This was a terrified animal that had been tortured. He walked closer and placed his hand gently on the Vexar's head. The scales were warm. The creature's breathing changed slightly at his touch but remained steady. Everyone except Dae, get out, Hyun said. The guards didn't move. Doctor, we have orders to stay and watch the creature. Hyun turned to face them. His voice was cold. You can watch through the window. If you stay in here with your weapons and armor, the creature will smell danger when it wakes up. It will attack. If you leave, I might be able to keep it calm. Your choice. The guards looked at each other. Finally, they walked out of the room. Through the window, Hyun could see them taking positions outside. Their weapons were still ready. Dae brought over the medical scanner. Doctor, are you sure about this? Hyun didn't answer. He was already working. The scanner showed him what he needed to know. 3 broken bones, internal bleeding, severe dehydration, burns covering 30% of the body. The creature should already be dead. But it was still fighting to live. Dae, we need to start surgery immediately. Prepare the equipment. For the next hour, Hyun worked without stopping. He set the broken leg. He stopped the internal bleeding. He treated the burns with special medicine. Dae assisted him, though his hands never stopped shaking. Outside the window, more people gathered to watch. Other doctors, scientists, even Commander Bora, the head of the station, came to see. The Vexar remained unconscious through all of it. Hyun was careful with every movement. He spoke softly to the creature as he worked, even though it couldn't hear him. It was an old habit from his days working with earth animals. You're going to be okay, he whispered. I know you're scared. I know you're in pain. But I'm going to help you. As he worked, Hyun noticed something strange. The Vexar's scales weren't just armor. They were beautiful. Each scale had patterns like fingerprints. No two were exactly alike. Under the examination light, they shimmered with different colors. Purple, yes, but also hints of blue and green. This wasn't a mindless killing machine. This was a living being, complex, unique, worth saving. When the surgery was finally done, Hyun stepped back. He was covered in sweat. His arms ached. But the Vexar was stable. Its breathing was stronger. The wounds were closed and bandaged. Dae collapsed into a chair. I can't believe we just did that. Hyun looked at the creature one more time. Outside, he could see Commander Bora talking to the guards. Her face looked angry. This wasn't over. Not by a long way. But for now, the Vexar was alive. That was what mattered. Good work, Dae, Hyun said. Now we wait and see if it survives the night. Commander Bora entered the medical bay early the next morning. Her boots made sharp sounds on the metal floor. Hyun was sitting in a chair next to the Vexar's containment area. He hadn't slept all night. His eyes were red and tired, but he was watching the creature carefully. Dr. Hyun, Bora said. Her voice was formal and cold. We need to talk. Hyun stood up slowly. His back hurt from sitting in the chair for so many hours. Good morning, Commander. Bora didn't waste time with small talk. She pulled out a data pad and showed it to Hyun. I've received 47 complaints in the last 12 hours. Scientists, doctors, station workers. Everyone is afraid. They want the Vexar removed from this station. Hyun looked at the screen but said nothing. Bora continued. The mining company that paid for the capture has withdrawn their funding. They say the creature is too dangerous to study. They don't want the liability. That means we have no reason to keep it alive. It's still a living being, Hyun said quietly. It's a threat, Bora corrected him. Station protocol is clear. Any creature that poses a danger to the population must be eliminated. I'm giving you until the end of today. If the Vexar isn't showing significant improvement, I'm ordering it to be euthanized. Hyun felt his chest tighten. Commander, it just had major surgery. It needs at least a week to recover. You have until tonight, Bora said. She turned and walked out of the medical bay. Hyun sat back down. His hands were shaking now. Not from fear, but from anger. He knew Bora was just following the rules. But the rules were wrong. The Vexar hadn't asked to be captured. It hadn't asked to be brought here. Now it was going to be killed because people were afraid. Dae arrived an hour later. He brought food and coffee for Hyun. Doctor, you need to eat something. You've been here all night. Hyun took the coffee but ignored the food. Dae, I need your help with something. Dae sat down. He looked worried. What kind of help? I need you to fake some medical records, Hyun said. Dae's eyes went wide. Doctor, that's illegal. If we get caught, we'll both lose our licenses. We could go to prison, Hyun nodded. I know. But if we don't do it, the Vexar dies tonight. I need the records to show that it's recovering faster than expected, that it's responding well to treatment, that it's not dangerous. Dae was quiet for a long moment. He looked at the Vexar through the containment glass. The creature was still unconscious. Its chest moved slowly with each breath. Why are you doing this, Doctor? It's just an animal. A dangerous one. That's exactly why, Hyun said. Because everyone sees it as just a dangerous animal. But I see something else. I see intelligence in its eyes. I see a creature that's been hurt and scared. Everyone in this galaxy judges Earth animals as primitive and stupid. They say humans are foolish for caring about lesser beings. But maybe caring is what makes us better, not worse. Dae thought about this. Then he nodded slowly. Okay, I'll help you. But we have to be very careful. For the next few hours, they worked together. Dae modified the medical reports. He made the Vexar's vital signs look better than they were. He added notes about positive responses to treatment. He created false data showing the creature's aggression levels decreasing. Meanwhile, Hyun prepared everything he would need for the next few days. More sedatives, bandages, nutrients, pain medicine. He didn't know how long he could keep this going, but he would try. In the afternoon, something unexpected happened. The Vexar began to wake up. Hyun noticed at first. The creature's breathing changed. It became faster. Its claws twitched. One of its eyes opened slightly. Hyun stood up and moved closer to the containment glass. Dae, he called quietly. It's waking up. Dae rushed over with a sedative ready. Should I put it back to sleep? Hyun raised his hand. Wait, let's see what it does. The Vexar's eye opened fully. It was a deep golden color with a black slit in the center. The eye moved slowly, looking around the room. It saw the medical equipment. It saw Dae standing with the sedative gun. Then it saw Hyun. The creature stared at Hyun for a long moment. Hyun didn't move. He kept his breathing calm and steady. He had learned long ago that animals could sense emotions. If he showed fear, the Vexar would react to it. Hello there, Hyun said softly. You're safe. I'm not going to hurt you. The Vexar's eye narrowed. It made a low sound, something between a growl and a hum. But it didn't try to attack. It just watched Hyun. That's good, Hyun continued. You're hurt and you need to rest. I've fixed your leg. I've treated your burns. You're going to feel better soon. The creature's breathing slowed down. Its eye closed again. A few seconds later, it was asleep once more. But this time it seemed peaceful. Not unconscious from sedatives, but actually resting. Dae lowered the sedative gun. His mouth was open. Doctor, did you see that? It listened to you. Hyun felt something warm in his chest. Hope. Yes. I think it understands that we're trying to help. That evening, Commander Bora returned with 2 security officers. She looked at the medical reports on her datapad as she walked in. Hyun stood up to meet her. Dr. Hyun, she said, these reports show remarkable improvement. The Vexar is recovering much faster than expected. Yes, Commander, Hyun said. He tried to keep his voice steady. The treatment is working well. Bora looked at him suspiciously. That's unusual for such a dangerous species. I want to bring in Dr. Wei from Xenobiology to confirm these findings. Hyun's heart sank. Dr. Wei was one of the best scientists on the station. He would see through the fake reports immediately. Commander, I don't think that's necessary. As the primary physician, I can assure you, I'm not asking for your permission, Doctor. Bora interrupted. Dr. Wei will be here tomorrow morning to examine the creature. Until then, the euthanization order is postponed. But if Dr. Wei finds any problems with your reports, there will be consequences. Do you understand? Hyun nodded. Yes, Commander. After Bora left, Dae collapsed against the wall. We're finished. Dr. Wei will know the reports are fake. He's too good. Hyun paced back and forth. Dae was right. They had bought some time, but not enough. Unless the Vexar showed real improvement by tomorrow, everything would be over. He walked back to the containment area. The Vexar was awake again. Both eyes were open now, watching him. Hyun placed his hand on the glass. The creature tilted its head, studying his movement. I need you to help me, Hyun said to the Vexar. I know you probably can't understand my words, but I need you to show them that you're not a monster. I need you to prove that you're worth saving. The Vexar made that humming sound again. It shifted its body, trying to move closer to the glass. The movement made it wince in pain, but it kept moving until it was right next to where Hyun's hand was placed. On the other side of the glass, it lifted one of its claws and placed it against the glass, matching Hyun's hand position. Dae gasped. "Doctor, it's copying you." Hyun felt tears in his eyes. He was right. The Vexar was intelligent. It was trying to communicate. "You do understand, don't you?" The creature's eyes seemed to soften. It made a different sound now, quieter and gentler. Then it slowly lowered its claw and rested its head on the floor, but its eyes stayed on Hyun. That night, Hyun didn't leave the medical bay. He pulled his chair close to the containment area and sat down. The Vexar watched him for a while, then closed its eyes. But every time Hyun moved, even slightly, the creature's eyes would open to check on him. Dae brought blankets and pillows. "Doctor, you should get some real sleep." "I can't," Hyun said. "Tomorrow is important. I need to be here." Dae sat down in another chair. "Then I'll stay too." They sat together in the quiet medical bay. Outside the window, the stars moved slowly past the station. Inside, a human doctor and a supposedly deadly alien creature rested near each other. The Vexar's breathing was steady and strong. Its wounds were healing. Against all odds, it was getting better. Hyun thought about his life on Earth. He remembered the first time he treated a tiger that had been shot by poachers. Everyone told him to let it die. They said it was too dangerous, too wild. But Hyun saved it anyway. When the tiger was released back into the jungle, it had looked back at him once before disappearing into the trees. That look had told Hyun everything. Gratitude, understanding, connection. He saw that same look in the Vexar's eyes now. This creature was no different from that tiger. It was scared and hurt and surrounded by enemies, but it recognized kindness when it saw it. "Whatever happens tomorrow," Hyun whispered, "I don't regret this. You deserve to live." The Vexar's ear twitched as if it hurt him. One golden eye opened and looked at Hyun for a moment. Then it closed again and the creature slept peacefully through the night. Dr. Wei arrived at exactly 7 in the morning. He was a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. His species, the Telmarians, were known for their scientific precision. Nothing escaped their notice. Hyun had worked with Dr. Wei before and respected him. But today he feared him. "Good morning, Dr. Hyun," Wei said. His voice was calm and professional. "I'm here to examine your patient." Hyun stood up from his chair. He had barely slept. His body ached and his mind was foggy, but he tried to appear confident. "Of course, Dr. Wei, the Vexar is through here." They walked to the containment area. The Vexar was awake, watching them approach. When it saw Dr. Wei, its body tensed. A low growl came from its throat. "Interesting," Dr. Wei said. "It's showing aggressive behavior toward me, but not toward you." "Why is that?" Hyun thought quickly. "I've been the primary caregiver. It recognizes me as non-threatening." Dr. Wei pulled out his scanner. He began taking readings through the containment glass. His 4 hands moved quickly, operating different instruments at once. Hyun watched nervously. Any moment now, Dr. Wei would discover the truth. But then something strange happened. Dr. Wei's expression changed. His eyes widened. He checked his scanner again, then looked at the Vexar with surprise. "Dr. Hyun," he said slowly, "these readings are remarkable. The creature is healing at an accelerated rate. Its broken bones are already knitting together. The burns are regenerating. This is far beyond what I expected." Hyun blinked. "What do you mean?" "I mean your reports were accurate. Perhaps even conservative." Dr. Wei moved closer to the glass. "I've studied Vexars for many years. They're known for their durability. But this is extraordinary. How did you achieve this?" Hyun didn't know what to say. The fake reports were showing real results? That didn't make sense unless the Vexar really was healing faster than normal. But why? "I use standard treatment protocols," Hyun said carefully. "Combined with some techniques I learned treating Earth animals." Dr. Wei nodded, still examining his scanner. "Whatever you did, it's working. I'll report to Commander Bora that the creature is stable and recovering well." "You've done excellent work, Doctor." After Dr. Wei left, Hyun stood in shock. Dae came running over. "What happened? Is he going to report us?" "No," Hyun said. "The Vexar really is healing faster. I don't understand how, but it's true." They both looked at the creature. The Vexar was watching Hyun with those intelligent golden eyes. It made the soft humming sound again. Over the next few days, Hyun spent every moment he could with the Vexar. He noticed more and more signs of intelligence. When he brought food, the creature would wait for him to step back before eating. When he changed the bandages, it would hold still without being sedated. It was cooperating. On the third day, Hyun made a discovery. He was reviewing old files about Vexars when he found something interesting. According to ancient records, Vexars were not solitary creatures. They lived in family groups. They protected their young fiercely. They communicated through sounds and touch. Hyun realized something important. The Vexar wasn't naturally aggressive. It was protective. It attacked because it felt threatened. When the miners captured it, they must have separated it from its family. That's why it fought so hard. He went to the containment area with new understanding. You were protecting someone, weren't you? He said to the Vexar. Your family. Your children. The creature's reaction was immediate. It made a sound Hyun had never heard before. A cry that sounded almost like grief. The Vexar pressed against the glass, its claws scraping gently. Its eyes looked directly into Hyun's, and in them Hyun saw deep sadness. I'm sorry, Hyun whispered. I'm so sorry they took you away from them. The Vexar's breathing became heavy. It lowered its head and made soft whimpering sounds. Hyun placed both hands on the glass. He wished he could reach through and comfort the creature properly. That night, Hyun made a decision. He requested access to the mining company's capture reports. What he read made him angry. The Vexar had been found in a cave system. It had been guarding something. The miners had used sonic weapons to drive it out. In the chaos, they captured the adult Vexar but left behind whatever it was protecting. The next morning, Hyun went to see Commander Bora. He brought all the evidence he had found. Commander, I need to speak with you about the Vexar. Bora looked up from her work. What about it? It was protecting its young when it was captured, Hyun explained. The creature we have here is not aggressive by nature. It's a parent that was separated from its children. That's why it attacked the miners. Bora leaned back in her chair. Even if that's true, Dr. Hyun, what do you expect me to do? We can't send it back. The mining company has legal rights to that sector. Then let me keep treating it, Hyun said. Let me prove that Vexars can be peaceful. This could change everything we know about the species. Bora considered this for a long moment. The creature is currently stable. As long as it remains non-threatening, you can continue your work. But the moment it shows aggression, this ends. Understood? Hyun nodded. Understood. Thank you, Commander. Back in the medical bay, Hyun tried something new. He asked permission to enter the containment area. Dae thought he was insane. The security guards refused. But Hyun was determined. I'll go in with full protective gear, he said. The Vexar is still weak from its injuries. If it attacks, I can get out quickly. But I don't think it will attack. I think it trusts me. After much argument, they agreed to let him try. Hyun put on thick armor and a helmet. The security guards stood ready with weapons. Dae prepared sedative darts. Everyone was tense. Hyun stepped into the containment area. The door closed behind him. He was alone with the Vexar. The creature raised its head. It looked at Hyun standing there in armor. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Hyun did something that shocked everyone watching. He took off his helmet. I trust you, Hyun said simply. The Vexar stood up slowly. It was still injured, but it could move now. It walked closer to Hyun. The guards outside raised their weapons. Dae shouted for Hyun to get out. But Hyun stayed still. The Vexar stopped right in front of him. It lowered its massive head until it was level with Hyun's chest. Then it made that soft humming sound and gently pressed its forehead against Hyun's armor. Hyun slowly raised his hand and placed it on the Vexar's head. The scales were warm and smooth. The creature closed its eyes and leaned into the touch. There was no aggression, no danger. Just a connection between two beings who understood each other. I'm going to call you Cal, Hyun whispered. It means strength in my language. Because you're strong. You survived when everyone said you wouldn't. Cal made a pleased sound. Its tail moved slowly from side to side like a cat's tail when it was content. Hyun spent the next hour just sitting with Cal, touching its scales, checking its wounds. The creature allowed him to do everything without resistance. When Hyun finally left the containment area, everyone was staring at him in disbelief. Dae grabbed his shoulders. Doctor, that was the most foolish, reckless, incredible thing I've ever seen. Hyun smiled. He was shaking from adrenaline, but he felt happy. Cal is not a monster. Cal is just an animal that's been hurt and scared. Now Cal knows we're friends. News of what happened spread through the station quickly. Some people thought Hyun was a hero. Others thought he was crazy. Scientists wanted to study how he had formed a bond with a supposedly untamable creature. The media requested interviews. But Hyun ignored all of it. He only cared about Cal's recovery. Every day, Hyun entered the containment area. Every day, Cal greeted him with that humming sound and pressed its head against him. They developed a routine. Hyun would check Cal's wounds, bring fresh food, and talk to the creature. He told Cal about Earth, about his work with animals, about his life. Cal would listen, sometimes making small sounds as if responding. Hyun discovered that Cal could understand simple gestures. When he pointed to something, Cal would look at it. When he held up his hand for Cal to stay, the creature would wait. When he beckoned, Cal would come closer. It was basic communication, but it was communication nonetheless. Day started helping with Cal's care too. At first he was terrified, but after watching Hyun interact safely with Cal dozens of times, he gained courage. The first time Day entered the containment area, he was shaking so badly he could barely walk. But Cal just watched him calmly. When Hyun introduced Day as a friend, Cal accepted him. "This is unbelievable," Day said, standing next to the massive creature. "A week ago I thought this was a killing machine. Now I'm petting it like it's a big dog." Hyun laughed. "Cal is much smarter than a dog. Watch this." He picked up a ball and threw it across the containment area. "Cal, fetch!" The Vexar looked at the ball, then at Hyun. It made a sound that almost seemed like a snort. Then it turned away, completely ignoring the ball. Day burst out laughing. "I think Cal just told you that fetching is beneath its dignity." Hyun grinned. "Okay, fair enough. Cal is definitely smarter than a dog." But despite the progress, Hyun couldn't forget what he had learned. Cal had a family somewhere. Children that were probably still in that cave system on the mining planet. Without their parent to protect and feed them, they might not survive. The thought haunted Hyun every time he looked into Cal's sad golden eyes. He knew what he had to do. It was risky. It might cost him his job, but it was the right thing to do. Cal deserved to be with family. Every creature deserved that. Hyun was reviewing data files in his office when the alarm started. This time it wasn't the medical emergency alarm. It was the station-wide danger alert. The sound was sharp and terrifying. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Day ran into the office, his face pale with fear. "Doctor, pirates are attacking the station." Hyun jumped to his feet. "What? How did they get past our defenses?" "I don't know," Day said. "But they're already inside. They breached the cargo bay. Security is trying to stop them, but there are too many." Through the window, Hyun could see people running in panic. Security officers rushed past with weapons. Somewhere in the distance, he heard the sound of plasma fire. His first thought was of all the patients in the medical bay, the sick and injured who couldn't defend themselves. His second thought was of Cal. "We need to evacuate the medical bay," Hyun said. "Help me move the patients to the emergency shelter." They worked quickly, moving people on stretchers and in wheelchairs. Other medical staff helped. Everyone was scared but trying to stay calm. The sounds of fighting grew closer. More plasma fire, shouting, explosions. After they moved the last patient, Hyun realized he had forgotten about Cal. The Vexar was still in the containment area. He couldn't just leave Cal there alone and frightened. "Day, take everyone to the shelter," Hyun said. "I'm going back for Cal." "Doctor, that's crazy." Day grabbed his arm. "The pirates are getting closer. You need to come with us now." Hyun pulled his arm free. "I can't leave Cal. Go, I'll catch up." He ran back to the medical bay before Day could stop him. The corridors were chaos. People pushed past him trying to escape. A security officer yelled at him to turn back, but Hyun kept running. When he reached the medical bay, he found it empty except for Cal. The Vexar was standing in the containment area, clearly agitated. Its scales were raised. Its claws scraped against the floor. The creature could sense danger. Hyun ran to the containment controls. His hands shook as he worked the panel. "Cal, I'm getting you out of here." "We need to hide." But before he could open the containment area, the main doors exploded inward. 3 pirates burst into the medical bay. They wore rough armor and carried heavy weapons. Their faces were covered with masks. They looked around the room searching for valuable equipment to steal. Then they saw Hyun. And they saw Cal. "Look at this," one pirate shouted. "A Vexar. Do you know how much we could sell this for?" The leader of the group aimed his weapon at Hyun. "Get away from the controls, human. That creature belongs to us now." Hyun didn't move. "This creature is under my care." "You can't have it," the pirate laughed. "You're either very brave or very stupid. Probably stupid. Move or I'll shoot you." Hyun's mind raced. He couldn't let them take Cal, but he couldn't fight 3 armed pirates by himself. He was just a doctor. He had no weapons, no combat training, just his determination to protect his patient. Behind him, Cal roared. It was a sound Hyun had never heard before. Deep and powerful, it shook the walls. The pirates took a step back, suddenly nervous. "It's contained," the leader said, trying to sound confident. "It can't get out. Grab the human and let's move." 2 pirates started toward Hyun. That's when everything changed. The containment area had been damaged when the doors exploded. Hyun hadn't noticed at first, but Cal had. The locking mechanism was broken. With one powerful push, Cal smashed through the weakened containment field. The Vexar was free. The pirates screamed and opened fire. Plasma bolts flew across the medical bay, but Cal moved with incredible speed. Despite its injuries, despite having been in captivity for weeks, the creature was still a formidable predator. It dodged the shots and lunged forward. What happened next was over in seconds. Cal's claws swept through the air. Pirates went flying across the room. Weapons scattered. One pirate tried to run, but Cal's tail whipped out and knocked him down. Another tried to fight back, but Cal's massive head struck him like a battering ram. Hyun pressed himself against the wall, too shocked to move. He had known Cal was strong, but seeing it in action was terrifying. This was the killing machine everyone had warned him about. This was the deadly beast from the stories. But then Cal stopped. The 3 pirates were on the ground, unconscious but alive. Cal could have killed them easily. Its claws could have torn them apart. But it hadn't. It had disabled them without killing them. Cal turned to look at Hyun. The creature's chest heaved with heavy breaths. Its golden eyes met Hyun's. In that moment, Hyun understood. Cal wasn't attacking because it was vicious. Cal was protecting him. "Thank you," Hyun whispered. More sounds came from the corridor. More pirates were coming. Cal's head snapped toward the door. The creature moved to stand between Hyun and the entrance. Its scales raised like armor. It was ready to fight again. But Hyun had a better idea. He ran to the communication panel on the wall and activated the station-wide broadcast. "This is Dr. Hyun in Medical Bay 7. I'm releasing the Vexar. I repeat, I'm releasing the Vexar into the corridors. All civilians seek shelter immediately. Pirates, you have been warned." He didn't know if it would work, but maybe, just maybe, the reputation of the Vexar would make the pirates think twice. Hyun looked at Cal. "I need your help. There are people on this station who need protection. Can you help me?" Cal made that humming sound. Then it nodded its massive head. Hyun couldn't believe it. The creature understood. Cal knew exactly what Hyun was asking. "Okay," Hyun said. "Let's go." "But Cal, listen to me. Don't kill anyone unless you absolutely have to. Just stop them." "Can you do that?" Cal made a softer sound, almost like agreement. Then the creature turned and walked toward the door. Hyun followed, staying close behind. They moved through the corridors together. Wherever they went, pirates fled in terror. The reputation of the Vexar preceded them. Some pirates dropped their weapons and ran. Others tried to fight, but Cal was too fast and too strong. The creature would knock them down, pin them, and move on. Just like Hyun had asked, Cal didn't kill. They found a group of pirates trying to break into the station vault. Cal charged forward with a roar that echoed through the metal halls. The pirates scattered like leaves in the wind. Security officers who had been pinned down suddenly had support. They looked at Hyun in amazement as he rode on Cal's back, directing the creature through hand signals. "The human doctor is controlling the Vexar," someone shouted over the communication system. "All units converge on medical bay sectors." "The Vexar is helping us," word spread quickly. The pirates' confidence collapsed. They had come to raid a space station, not fight a legendary killing machine. More and more of them retreated to their ships. Cal and Hyun reached the cargo bay where the pirates had breached. A dozen pirates were loading stolen supplies onto their ships. When they saw Cal approaching, they abandoned everything and ran for their lives. But the pirate leader was different. He was bigger than the others, wearing heavy armor and carrying a plasma cannon. He stood his ground. "I'm not afraid of a stupid animal," he growled. He fired the cannon. The blast hit Cal in the shoulder. The creature roared in pain and stumbled. Hyun fell from Cal's back and hit the floor hard. He looked up and saw the pirate leader reloading for another shot. "No!" Hyun shouted. He threw himself in front of Cal. The pirate laughed. "Moving human. I'll kill you both," but Cal wasn't finished. Despite the pain, despite the new wound, the creature rose up. Its eyes blazed with fury. This pirate had hurt Cal's friend. The one who had saved Cal. The one who had shown kindness when everyone else showed fear. Cal's roar shook the entire cargo bay. The creature moved faster than before, driven by protective rage. The pirate leader fired again, but Cal dodged. In 3 powerful strides, Cal was on him. One swipe of Cal's massive paw sent the plasma cannon flying. Another swipe knocked the pirate leader down. Cal stood over him, claws raised. "Cal, no!" Hyun shouted. "Don't kill him!" Cal stopped. The claws hovered inches from the pirate leader's throat. The creature looked back at Hyun, breathing heavily. Then slowly, Cal lowered its claws. Instead of killing the pirate, Cal simply placed one massive paw on the man's chest, pinning him down. Security forces rushed into the cargo bay. They surrounded the remaining pirates and began making arrests. Commander Bora was with them. She looked at the scene with wide eyes. Hyun, bruised and exhausted on the floor. Cal, wounded but standing tall. And dozens of captured pirates who had been stopped by a human doctor and a supposedly untamable alien beast. "Dr. Hyun," Bora said slowly, "what exactly happened here?" Hyun struggled to his feet. He walked over to Cal and placed his hand on the creature's side. "We protected the station, Commander, together." Bora shook her head in disbelief. "A human and a Vexar working together. I never thought I'd see this day." The station's medical team arrived to treat the wounded. Hyun insisted on treating Cal first. The plasma blast had burned through the creature's scales, leaving a nasty wound. But Cal sat still and let Hyun work, even though it must have hurt badly. "You were amazing," Hyun told Cal quietly as he cleaned the wound. "You saved so many people today. You proved that you're not a monster. You're a hero." Cal made that gentle humming sound and nuzzled against Hyun's shoulder. Despite everything, despite the pain and the violence, the bond between them had only grown stronger. Later that night, after the chaos had settled, the council chambers were filled with representatives from dozens of species. They sat in a large circle, all watching Hyun as he stood in the center with Cal beside him. The Vexar had refused to stay in the medical bay. Where Hyun went, Cal followed. They were bonded now in a way that transcended words. Commander Bora spoke first. "Dr. Hyun, you stand before the Galactic Species Council to explain the extraordinary events that occurred on Meridian 7. You have formed a bond with a Vexar, a species previously thought to be untamable. You have used this creature to defend our station against pirates. The Council wishes to understand how this is possible." Hyun took a deep breath. He had prepared his words carefully. "Honored Council members, what I'm about to tell you challenges everything we thought we knew about Vexars. They are not mindless killing machines. They are intelligent social creatures with complex emotions and the capacity for loyalty and love." A reptilian council member hissed. "Impossible. Vexars have killed thousands of beings across the galaxy. They attack without provocation." "With respect, sir, that's not true," Hyun replied. "Vexars attack when they feel threatened or when their families are in danger. Cal here was captured while protecting offspring. Every recorded Vexar attack has been in defense of territory or young. They're not evil. They're protective." He placed his hand on Cal's head. The creature leaned into his touch, making that soft humming sound. Many council members gasped. Some looked frightened. Others looked fascinated. "How did you achieve this bond?" asked a floating energy being. "Through patience and kindness," Hyun said simply. "Through treating Cal not as a monster but as a patient, an animal in pain that needed help. On Earth we have a saying, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. It means that kindness achieves more than force." Dr. Wei stood up from his seat. "I can confirm Dr. Hyun's findings. I have studied the medical records and observed the interaction myself. The bond is genuine. Furthermore, I believe this discovery could revolutionize our understanding of many so-called dangerous species." Commander Bora addressed the council. During the pirate attack, the Vexar had multiple opportunities to kill. It did not. Instead, it showed restraint and followed Dr. Hyun's directions. It protected civilians and disabled enemies without lethal force. This is not the behavior of a mindless beast. The council members talked among themselves. Some were convinced. Others remained skeptical. Finally, the council leader, an ancient being with crystalline skin, spoke. Dr. Hyun, your achievement is remarkable. However, one case does not prove a pattern. What do you propose we do with this information? Hyun had been waiting for this question. I propose we return Cal to the planet where it was captured. The mining company's records show that Cal's offspring are likely still there, in the cave system. Cal deserves to be reunited with them. The mining company owns the rights to that sector, a council member objected. They won't allow it. Then buy the rights from them, Hyun said firmly. Establish it as a protected zone, and allow me to study Vexars in their natural habitat. Let me prove that peaceful contact is possible. Think about what this could mean. Vexars are powerful creatures. If we can coexist with them, if we can communicate with them, they could become allies instead of enemies. The council went silent. The idea was radical, dangerous, but also full of potential. The crystal being leaned forward. This would require significant resources, funding, security, personnel, and it could fail. The Vexar might return to its aggressive behavior once released. Cal suddenly stood up. The creature walked forward toward the council members. Several of them flinched. Guards raised their weapons. But Cal stopped in the center of the circle and lowered its head in a gesture that looked remarkably like a bow. Then Cal did something no one expected. It began to make sounds, not the growls or roars they had heard before. These were different, rhythmic, almost like speech. The sounds rose and fell in patterns like language. Hyun stepped forward. Cal is trying to communicate with you. I've been working with Cal for weeks now. I believe Vexars have their own language. They're not animals. They're people. Different from us, yes, but people nonetheless. The council chamber erupted in discussion. This changed everything. If Vexars were intelligent species capable of communication, they had rights under galactic law. They couldn't be hunted or captured. They couldn't be treated as mere animals. Commander Bora smiled slightly. She looked at Hyun with new respect. Doctor, you've created quite a situation. If Vexars are a sentient species, this has massive legal implications. Over the next 3 weeks, the council debated. Scientists came to study Cal. Linguists tried to decode the sounds Cal made. Anthropologists compared Vexar behavior to other intelligent species. Every test confirmed what Hyun had been saying. Vexars were smart. They had culture. They had families. They had been misunderstood for generations. During this time, Hyun never left Cal's side. He continued teaching the council about proper Vexar care. He showed them how Cal responded to different gestures and sounds. He demonstrated the trust between them. And every day Cal proved that a Vexar could live peacefully among other species. Day became Cal's second favorite person. The creature would greet him with gentle nudges and soft sounds. Other station workers who had been terrified of Cal began to approach cautiously. Children especially were fascinated. Hyun supervised carefully as young ones touched Cal's scales and marveled at the massive creature's gentleness. Finally, the council reached a decision. They called Hyun and Cal back to the chambers. This time the mood was different, excited, hopeful. The crystal being spoke. Dr. Hyun, the council has voted. We will fund your research mission. The mining company has agreed to sell their rights to the sector where Cal was captured. It will become a protected Vexar habitat. You will lead a team to return Cal and establish contact with its species. If successful, we will begin formal diplomatic relations with the Vexar people. Hyun felt tears in his eyes. Thank you, honored council. You won't regret this. There is more, the being continued. We are appointing you as the first human ambassador to the Vexar species. This is a new role, created specifically for you. Your mission is to bridge the gap between our civilizations. The chamber erupted in applause. Cal roared, but it was a happy sound. The creature understood something good was happening. 2 months later, Hyun stood on the surface of the mining planet. A team of scientists and diplomats stood behind him. But all eyes were on Cal. The Vexar was trembling with excitement. They were close to the cave system where Cal had been captured. Are you ready? Hyun asked Cal. The creature looked at him with those golden eyes. Then it did something that made Hyun's heart swell. Cal gently touched its forehead to Hyun's, the same gesture they had shared that first time. A gesture of trust and affection. Then Cal ran toward the caves. The massive creature moved across the rocky terrain with incredible speed. Hyun and the team followed more slowly, giving Cal space. They heard it before they saw it. Sounds from inside the cave. High-pitched calls. Then Cal's deep voice answering. More sounds. Excitement. Joy. When Hyun reached the cave entrance, he saw something beautiful. Cal was surrounded by 3 smaller Vexars. They were about half Cal's size. Young ones. They climbed over their parent, making happy sounds. They nuzzled against Cal's scales. It was a reunion. A family brought back together. Cal looked back at Hyun. Even across the distance, Hyun could see the gratitude in those eyes. The creature made a sound, and the 3 young Vexars turned to look at Hyun. Cal was introducing them. Slowly, carefully, Hyun approached. The young Vexars watched him with curiosity rather than fear. Cal made soft sounds as if explaining who Hyun was. Then one by one, the young ones came forward. They sniffed Hyun. They touched him gently with their claws. They were accepting him as Cal had. Over the following months, Hyun's team established a research station near the Vexar caves. They learned so much. Vexars lived in extended family groups. They hunted together. They taught their young. They had ceremonies and rituals. They created art by arranging stones and patterns. They were a civilization that had existed in isolation, feared and hunted by other species who never took the time to understand them. Hyun worked with Cal to develop a basic communication system. Simple gestures and sounds that both species could use. The young Vexars learned quickly. They were curious about the humans and other aliens in the research team. They played games with them. They brought them gifts of interesting rocks and plants. More Vexar groups came out of hiding. They had been living in remote areas, avoiding contact with other species. But now, seeing that peace was possible, they approached cautiously. Hyun met with the Vexar elders, massive ancient creatures that commanded respect. Through Cal's help translating, Hyun learned the Vexar history. They told him stories of their people, of how they had once tried to make contact with other species, only to be attacked and driven away. We thought all sky people were enemies. One elder communicated through gestures and sounds. But you showed kindness to one of us. You saved our child. You brought our family back together. For this, the Vexar people are grateful. News of the successful contact spread across the galaxy. The story of the human doctor who befriended a Vexar became famous.